Have you ever experienced those types of pains that seem to wander from place to place? It's almost like the pain might go from muscle to muscle or from joint to joint, or maybe it starts on one side of your neck and then ends up hurting on the other side. Or maybe you get something like a massage because you've got pain on one side of your neck, but then after the massage you feel a little bit better and then it switches to the other side of the neck, or maybe a different muscle. Personally, this is something I've suffered with a number of times. I have had some debilitating neck pain where a whole side of my neck was seized up, horribly painful, and I'd go and have things like chiropractic, acupuncture, massage done, and that would feel better. But then the other side of my neck would really start to bother me, or just jump to a different set of muscles. Now, dealing with something like fibromyalgia or chronic unexplained pain, you've already got some people that'll say things like, oh, it's all in your head, or maybe they start to think you're crazy or something. Now, having a pain like this that seems to wander from place to place doesn't really seem to help that. And the problem is that pain can be incredibly severe. It's not like it's just this little twinge that walks around throughout your body. It can be horribly painful in every spot that it goes. So what gives with this type of pain? Now, remember in the last video, I was talking about lymphatics and how the body can carry all this extra fluid and waste material, and that can lead to overgrowth of things like pathogenic bacteria, molds, viruses. Now, when you get this type of pain, when this type of thing occurs, your immune system can go into a generalized inflammatory state. This is a generalized immune response because it's trying to fight off what it's perceiving as a harmful pathogen, something that's not supposed to be there. Now, when you get pain from something like this, it'll often present as a pain that wanders from place to place, like from muscle to muscle or from joint to joint. This is also the type of pain that'll get worse with things like exposure to wind or with changes in temperature, changes in the weather. You might also have sensations of that where at times you feel like you're shivering and cold, and then other times you feel too hot, and you keep going back and forth. That's another sign of this type of issue going on. So it's almost like your body can't get the temperature quite right, and it just further contributes to this overall feeling of discomfort. Now, the real key in cases like this is that the immune system needs to be addressed in order to eliminate these pathogens. And if there's also lymphatic swelling, that needs to be dealt with as well. So we need a strong immune system, we need to get rid of the pathogens, we also need to get rid of swelling. All of these things need to happen together in order to properly address these types of pains. Now, this is basically the first stage of addressing fibromyalgia. I've talked about how we've identified whole systems approaches to dealing with these things, and this is really just the first part of it. So tomorrow I'm going to start delving into the next stage, the next area that we address when we're looking at fibromyalgia, and plus why it's so important that all of these things get addressed in the proper order in order to have long-term success in dealing with something like fibromyalgia.